I'd like to show you my DIY stand for 4-tier Behringer modular neutrons that I've made. The tools that you will need is a handsaw, a hammer, a power jigsaw, unless you have access to the CNC plotter, so you can make it way proper than by a jigsaw. Power screwdriver, some screws, it's metric 3/30, a drill for wood 4mm, some sandpaper, and I guess that's all. The materials that you will need is an IKEA Skadis pegboard. I think that one of diameter 36 on 56 centimeters will be enough for 2 pieces of that stand. Some aluminium, aluminium tube, 10mm diameter, and another aluminium tube, 8mm diameter. I already mentioned about screws and nuts. It's 3/30. Okay, let's move on. While I'm a total noob, according to CAD systems or Photoshop or Illustrator, I made it on my plotting paper or millimeter paper. As you can see, all dimensions are here. The first project was for three Behringers, but as I've shown you, it can be easily done for 4 synthesizers. Of course, if you have access to a CNC plotter, you can use your CAD file and make it much easier. The easiest way to draw it is to take one of these wooden sides of your synthesizer and simply put it back on the table so you can see how it will look, and so on and so on. Here's the first version for 3-tier, but I have 4 of them, so a little bit upgraded. You can see that there are some holes where the screws for original sides are coming. As you can see, there is a slight difference between width of those 4 synthesizers. Pro 1 and Neutron are a little bit wider than Model D and CAT. So I simply, next to Model D, put a MIDI splitter from Neutron, and here is some free space. I don't know what to put over there. I will think about it later. With that MIDI splitter was a little bit of more work, because I needed to use those wooden sides from the synthesizer, so the gap between the stand and Model D will be neutralized. You will need to disassemble this MIDI splitter to combine it with these wooden sides. You will also need to put some holes in its case, but it's there's a lot of space inside of it, so it won't be a problem. Here are those connections between CAT and that case. I made it from the aluminum tube, 8mm diameter. It has 5 cm length, and I will show you how to do it to connect onto each other. First step is to take some sandpaper and green the edges so it won't be sharp. Of course, I'm doing it by my one hand, because on the other hand I'm holding a phone, so it looks like I can't do that, but you know I can. After that, I hammer a small nut from that 3-on-30 pack. You can buy it in every construction store. Into that 8mm tube, and it will be placed like that. This is the first step. Second step is to take a single screw with a nut and hammer it into that tube. And now you have a combination of that tube with a screw from the one side and the nut from the other side, and it comes like this. You screw it on the places where originally placed screws was, and from the other side you simply put some another screws. To make it more stable, I added 2 bars made from that 10mm diameter aluminum tube. Also, there are some nuts hammered inside and screwed to the sides. Of course, you can see that that connections on my CAT are for now covered by it, but I simply put it on the other place of that case. There is that Neutron MIDI splitter. Of course, you must remember, if you want to use one, that you will need an angle MIDI cable, because otherwise this little bar won't let you put a standard MIDI cable on it. But the power supply and 5th MIDI in are easy accessible. And here's how it looks with all MIDI cables plugged in. It doesn't take much space. It doesn't affect on any knobs. So I think it's quite cool. And that's all. First of all, I like to apologize for my poor language, but English is not my native and it looks that I need to train it more. It's way easier for me to write than speak. If you have any additional questions, please place them on the comment sections and I will try to answer. And that's it. Thank you.